After 12 nannies failed, this heartwarming caregiver revealed an incredible life-changing bond. Emily sat on her couch, staring blankly at the clock. The minute hand ticked slowly, torturing her as she counted down the minutes until her kids burst through the door. She had tried every approach, 12 nannies in less than a year. She felt like an absolute failure. Each time, she'd dream of the perfect American life, full of laughter and love, only to watch it crumble when her children barely connected with yet another caregiver. Her 3-year-old son, Jake, was easily distressed, and Lily, her 6-year-old daughter, withdrew into her own world when left with strangers. Emily's heart tightened at the thought. She had promised herself that she would give her kids everything she never had, yet every nanny just seemed to amplify her fears. Each goodbye felt like a chain wrapped tighter around her chest, choking her dreams of a happy family. Then, just as hope seemed to flicker out, Sarah appeared. A 29-year-old caregiver, she showed up on Emily's doorstep, her backpack hanging off one shoulder and an eager smile on her face. As they conversed, Emily couldn't help but notice how Sarah leaned down to Jake's level and started playing with his toy dinosaurs. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Emily felt a spark of something she hadn't expected: relief. Sarah seemed different. As Sarah engaged with her kids, Emily watched warily, a sense of skepticism tugging at her. But as the weeks passed, it became clear Sarah had a natural gift. Lily giggled as they executed pretend teacup parties, and Jake began to open up. Learning that Sarah came from a hard background, Emily felt connected in a way but also fearful. What if she got too close and had her heart broken again? Then came the shocking blow. Sarah had just taken the kids for a quick grocery run when Emily received that heart-stopping phone call. A serious car accident. Emily's breath caught, eyes stinging with tears as dread wrapped around her like a vice. She rushed to the hospital, heart pounding in rhythm with her thoughts racing. Would Sarah be okay? As she sat by Sarah's bedside, a heavy silence filled the room. The monitors beeped softly, and the hum of the fluorescent lights droned on. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Sitting there, she realized how much Sarah had transformed their household. Her children thrived, hearts full, laughter spilling over. But within that chaos, Emily felt resentment stirring. Why had Sarah taken a risk for her kids? What chaos would this bring? Emily struggled with accepting that Sarah's presence had become essential to their lives. As Sarah blinked awake, Emily found herself teetering on the edge of vulnerability. Could she let go of her fears and embrace this unexpected bond? As she stood before Sarah, ready to ask questions that could forever change the foundation of their makeshift family, she took a deep breath. The weight of her decision loomed large. Would she break down the walls she had built around her heart, or cling to her fears? She gathered her courage, ready to confront her biases, heart racing with the realization that maybe, just maybe, family could be formed in the unlikeliest of places. Emily's heart raced as Sarah's eyes fluttered and slowly focused on her. That familiar warmth washed over her, a mixture of worry, hope, and a hint of regret. The room felt small, the hospital bed a fragile barrier revealing the true strength that lay between them. Sarah's hand twitched, and Emily instinctively reached for it, feeling the coolness of her skin against her own warm palm. "Hey," Sarah whispered, her voice raspy but brightening when she recognized Emily. A soft smile broke through her pain, making Emily's heart swell. What happened? This was the moment where the bond they had forged could either strengthen or shatter. Emily swallowed hard, finding the words difficult to articulate. "You were in a car accident," she said softly, her voice trembling. "But you're going to be okay. They said you'll recover." A flicker of concern crossed Sarah's face before it settled back into that easy smile. "The kids?" she asked, her eyes darting, searching, as if her voice alone would bring them close. "They're home," Emily assured her. They're worried about you. Hearing those words linger in the air made her throat tighten. But they are safe. I've been thinking a lot while waiting. Her voice faltered. Thinking what? Sarah prompted, her own struggles seemingly forgotten for the moment. Emily hesitated, battling confusion and vulnerability. About how you changed our lives. How I thought we could manage without anyone else, you know. But you helped them. You helped me. I didn't know I needed you. The words tumbled out, her honesty hitting like a wave against the shore. In those moments, Emily felt the enormous weight of her isolation slowly start to crack. Sarah's smile widened, brighter than any hospital room had ever seen. I want to be there for you guys, Sarah said, her expression earnest, even through this. Tears pooled in Emily's eyes as she squeezed the warmth of Sarah's hand. It felt grounding, as if a bridge were being built between their hearts. I need to let you in, Sarah. I want that bond, but I'm scared, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Sarah nodded, an understanding in her gaze that soothed Emily's frayed nerves. That's okay. We'll take it one step at a time. Just then, the sound of a soft knock interrupted their moment. Emily turned to see the doctor standing at the door, clipboard in hand. She felt a flicker of apprehension. Is everything all right? She asked, the worry creeping back in. The doctor stepped inside, a professional calm enveloping him. Good news. Sarah is going to be fine, but we need to discuss her recovery plan. Emily nodded, her heart still fluttering in her chest. As the doctor began explaining the details, she glanced back at Sarah. The light in her eyes was slowly returning. With each passing moment, Emily felt the walls she had built crumbling, but what lay beyond that threshold was as daunting as it was exciting. Later that evening, as she sat in the hospital room, watching Sarah drift off to sleep, Emily realized something profound. Forging connections took courage. It hurt. But it could also heal. She felt that spark growing within her, the yearning for family, not just in name but in heart. Though it wouldn't be easy, Emily suddenly understood that embracing vulnerability meant rediscovering hope. But just as she was beginning to explore this new path, an unsettling thought nudged at her mind. What if the road ahead was not as simple as it seemed? Tomorrow's challenges loomed large as worry crept back in, leaving Emily to wonder, could she truly open her heart wide enough to let someone in again when the past still echoed in her ears? The next morning, sunlight streamed through the hospital window, casting a warm glow across the room. Emily blinked against the brightness, feeling a fragile sense of renewal as she remembered Sarah's smile from the night before. But as she shifted in her chair, the weight of yesterday's worries settled back onto her shoulders. She reached for her phone and checked for messages. A couple of missed calls from the kids, mixed with a few texts, asked how Sarah was doing. Only moments after she hit reply, a gentle knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. It was the nurse, carrying a tray laden with breakfast. Good morning. The nurse said, her voice cheery. How are we feeling today, Sarah? Emily turned to see Sarah's eyes flutter open. The corners of her mouth turned up, though she looked a bit weary. A lot better than yesterday, Sarah replied, her voice stronger, and Emily felt a swell of relief wash through her. Breakfast is served. The nurse chirped as she set the tray down. As Sarah took small bites, Emily couldn't help but watch her, relieved that her friend was back and slowly gaining strength. They chatted about trivial things, the funny cartoons the kids liked and how Sarah missed them. For a moment, Emily felt like they were simply two friends catching up over breakfast, not fighting through the aftermath of a near tragedy, but Emily couldn't shake the tightness in her chest. Sarah, she began hesitantly. What will happen when you go home? What if? Stop right there, Sarah interrupted, the sparkle in her eyes dimming momentarily. Let us focus on today. I'll take it one day at a time, okay? You taught me that. Emily nodded, but the unspoken fears pulsed behind her ribcage like a warning bell. What if this all was just temporary? What if Sarah's recovery path wasn't smooth, and what if she stumbled? The rest of the day flowed in a strange rhythm of normalcy mixed with anxiety. Doctors came and went, therapists introduced themselves, and each time they talked about the recovery process, Emily felt more entangled in her worries. The more she heard about physical therapy and follow-up appointments, the heavier the weight on her heart became. Later, as they read stories from the bring-along picture books for the kids, Sarah's laughter was like music to Emily's ears. Yet, beneath those giggles, Emily would catch herself wincing, imagining all the ways this could go wrong. Each laugh felt like a balance on a fragile scale. As dusk set in and shadows danced against the wall, Emily made a decision. I want to help more than just care for the kids when you're back home. I want to be there for you, too. We can figure this out together. Sarah glanced up, her eyes wide with gratitude. You already are, Em. Just being here is a lot. I promise you, I won't go anywhere. But the promise felt faint, like a hold on a slippery rope. Emily's heart raced. Could they really navigate this together? Was she able to open her heart enough to embrace the uncertainties ahead? As they settled in for the night, Emily snuggled into her chair, her thoughts racing. What if Sarah's promise wasn't enough? What if she needed more from Emily? The questions spiraled, and with them came the understanding that healing meant facing the past but also embracing the future. Doubt loomed large, and with it came the realization that the next few days might reveal more than they bargained for. Tomorrow, Emily would meet the therapist assigned to Sarah and discuss the recovery plan further. But deep down, an unsettling feeling whispered, what if the true challenge lay not in the recovery, but in the bonds they would have to forge to withstand it? With that thought echoing in her mind, Emily closed her eyes, wishing she could believe that everything would be all right, yet bracing herself for the storm that was surely on the horizon. The early morning light spilled through the window, gilding Sarah's face in a soft glow. Emily had arrived before the sun, settling back into the familiar chair beside her friend's bed. It felt strange how, each day in this hospital room, time seemed to warp, hours felt like seconds, yet the worry of her heart stretched out like an eternity. When Sarah stirred, the first words out of her mouth were filled with humor. I hope they don't serve me hospital food again. Emily chuckled, relieved to see the usual mischief sparkling in Sarah's eyes. I think we can arrange something. I'll smuggle in a donut later. The banter lightened the room, but Emily remained acutely aware of the implications shimmering in the air. Today was the big day. They were to meet Sarah's therapist. The thought gnawed at her. It was a step forward, yet each step felt like uncharted territory. The nurse swooped in soon after, clipboard in one hand, injections in the other. Let's check those vitals, she announced cheerfully. As the nurse went through her routine, Emily grabbed Sarah's hand, squeezing it gently. You ready for today? Sarah took a deep breath. I'll be fine, Em. It's just the first of many steps, right? Right, Emily echoed, though doubt flickered in her heart. After breakfast, the wait felt torturous. Emily tried to distract herself by checking on the kids through texts. Each message tugged at her heartstrings. They missed their mother and were eager to see her. But would they understand the changes? Just then, a cheerful voice broke into her mobile reverie. Emily. I'm Dr. Nelson, Sarah's therapist. It's great to finally meet you both. The doctor walked in with an easy smile, bringing an energy that felt refreshing against the hospital's sterile atmosphere. Hi. Nice to meet you. Sarah managed, her bravado still intact. Okay, let us dive in, shall we? Who here wants to kick some healing butt? Dr. Nelson's enthusiasm was infectious, and Emily felt a bit of her anxiety dissipate. As they discussed the recovery plan, everything felt like an avalanche of information. Dr. Nelson laid out a schedule packed with physical therapy, strength training, and mental exercises. Each detail struck Emily with a sense of urgency, causing her to worry about the onslaught of appointments and expectations that lay ahead. Sarah nodded, taking in the words, but Emily couldn't shake the dread festering in her chest. What if Sarah couldn't keep up? What if the therapist's plans fell short? It felt like a weight pressing down on her. Emily, Dr. Nelson said, catching her gaze, it's crucial to remember that this process will take time. Healing isn't just about physical progress, it's emotional too. You'll both need to lean on each other. The strength of that statement hit too close to home. Leaning felt like a dangerous proposition, given how fragile everything felt right now. Emily glanced at Sarah, who was trying to mask her nervousness behind a brave smile. As the session wrapped up, Sarah turned to Emily, eyes lurking with a mixture of hope and apprehension. "You'll be with me, right?" "Always," Emily promised, her voice steady, but her mind raced. Leaving the office, Emily held tight onto Sarah's arm. They walked slowly, their shadows melding together against the bright corridor lights, though Emily felt like she was stumbling along various forms of uncertainty. Once back in the room, Sarah sank onto the bed, exhaustion visibly washing over her. Emily, caught between wanting to soothe and offering tough love, was at a crossroads. "Are you all right?" she asked, watching Sarah's features twist in fatigue. "I'm just tired, Em. But let us do this. One step at a time, right?" As Emily sat beside her, questions spiraled again. What were those steps? How would they handle falling apart? With a shiver in her heart, she answered, "Right. One step at a time." But deep down, she whispered a plea for strength. The day closed in silence, thick with unexpressed fears. Emily lay on the chair once more, the weight of uncertainty pushing against her mind. What would tomorrow bring? Would their bond withstand the whispers of vulnerability lurking around their fragile moments? Tomorrow would tell the story, but for now, they both needed to find a spark of courage before the next storm descended. The sun peeked through the blinds again, casting stripes of light across the hospital room. Emily opened her eyes slowly, feeling the familiar weight on her chest. Today was not just another day, it was day one of Sarah's recovery journey, and uncertainty clung to the air like an unwelcome fog. Sarah was already awake, staring out the window. Her expression was unreadable, a mix of determination and fear. "Guess what?" she said without turning. "I saw a bird out there. I think it was a blue jay." There was a lilt in her voice, an attempt to inject some normalcy into the morning. "Really? Maybe it'll bring you some good luck," Emily replied, attempting to mimic Sarah's light-hearted tone. "Or it could just be scoping out lunch," Sarah joked, finally turning to face Emily, a small smile breaking through. It was the kind of moment both women clung to, hope nestled in the cracks of their fragile reality. But then the door swung open, and the nurse walked in with a cheerful greeting. "Morning, ladies. Ready for physical therapy?" Emily's stomach dropped. The reality of the day began hitting her. Sure, they had talked about it in theory, but now it was happening. "You got this, Sarah," she said, more to convince herself than anything else. As they made their way to the therapy room, Emily noticed every type of emotion flickering across Sarah's face: anticipation, fear, and the unavoidable tension. When they arrived, the therapist, a tall woman with a warm smile named Lisa, greeted them enthusiastically. "Sarah, let us see what we can do today." It felt like a marathon to Emily as she stood back, observing. They started with simple movements. Stretching, bending, lifting small weights. Each task was a new mountain for Sarah to climb, but she pushed through with grit. "Good. Just like that," Lisa encouraged. But with every effort, Emily could see Sarah's resolve starting to waver. "Emily, I don't know if I can do this," Sarah muttered during a brief pause, her breath heavy, her eyes clouded with exhaustion. There it was, the fear that had been looming, finally spilling over. "You've already come so far, Sarah," Emily responded, her heart racing with urgency. "Just keep focusing on what you can do today." And yet, another part of her was afraid. What if today was too much? What if all this effort was setting Sarah up for disappointment later? After what felt like an eternity, the session finally ended. Sarah slumped against the wall, her legs shaky, her spirit dimmed. "I'm just so tired, Em." "I know," Emily whispered, kneeling beside her. "You're doing better than anyone expected. You're brave, and I'm proud of you. But am I brave enough?" Sarah replied, her voice barely a whisper. "What if I can't keep going?" This was the moment Emily dreaded. Vulnerability laid bare, begging for reassurance. "I'll be right here, no matter what. We'll face it together. It's okay to not have all the answers." As they sat together, the weight of their shared silence felt heavy. Emily could almost sense the shift inside Sarah, an acknowledgement of her own limitations. The rest of the day was a blur. They returned to the room where little else was said, folding in on their thoughts and fears. Emily looked around, eyes catching the children's drawings on the wall, bright and hopeful against the stark hospital white. She thought of how much Sarah longed to be with them. But would the kids be ready for this new version of their mother? Would they accept the balance of strength and struggle? In that moment, her determination solidified, and a fierce protectiveness coursed through her. She had to help Sarah find her way back, but how? What if the kids' reaction brought everything crashing down again? Tomorrow might bring an answer, but for now, with exhaustion settling in, Emily knew they both needed a moment of quiet to recharge. As darkness draped over the room, one question lingered in her mind. Tomorrow, when the kids showed up, would they see their mother as she truly was, a warrior in the making? The next morning dawned, brightening the hospital room with rays of hope. Emily stirred first, the anticipation buzzing beneath her skin. It was the day the kids were coming, and with it, the tightness in her chest returned. She glanced at Sarah, still lost in sleep, her face serene yet vulnerable, like an untouched canvas awaiting color. The nurse entered, a smile on her face. "Morning, ladies. Ready for another day?" Emily replied with a nod, but her mind was racing. She needed to help Sarah not just recover but reconnect. As Sarah stirred, Emily felt a swell of determination. "Today's the day you get to see the kids," she said, trying to mask her nerves with enthusiasm. "They can't wait to see you, you know." "Yeah," Sarah mumbled, blinking sleep away. The weight of reality began to dawn on her. Emily could see the flickering light of hope battling against the shadows of fear in Sarah's eyes. She wanted to reach out, to assure her that everything would be okay. They moved through the morning routine with an unspoken tension hanging in the air, punctuated by moments of laughter and glimpses of the old Sarah. As therapy loomed ahead, Emily felt a knot form in her stomach again. "Let's take things slow today," she said gently. "One step at a time." "Just like yesterday?" Sarah asked, a hint of reluctance in her voice. "Exactly. You've already climbed Everest this week. Today is just a little hill." The therapy session began with familiar exercises. Lisa guided Sarah through stretches, encouraging each small achievement. Emily watched closely, her heart racing as she noticed the moments of frustration creeping back in. "Keep going, Sarah. Remember the blue jay? Focus on that. You can do this." Each movement pulled at the edges of Sarah's strength. She pushed herself through the pain while Emily cheered her on. Lisa's encouragement filled the space, but Emily noticed the weariness creeping back into Sarah's features. Halfway through the session, Sarah took a break, panting slightly. What if they don't recognize me?" she suddenly confessed, her eyes wide with fear. "What if they see me and retreat?" "Hey," Emily leaned closer, her voice steady and soothing. "They are going to see their mom. The same mom who loves them so fiercely. It's a new chapter, but it's still you." Tears glistened in Sarah's eyes as she nodded, though uncertainty lingered like the ghost of a doubt. They finished the session feeling both drained and accomplished. As they headed back to the room, Emily's mind raced with what was about to unfold. When the nurses announced the kids' arrival, a mix of excitement and dread filled Emily's stomach. How would Sarah hold up? Would her children embrace the woman in front of them, or would they miss the mother they once knew? The door swung open, and Emily's heart pounded as first the youngest, Lily, rushed in, followed closely by Ethan. "Mommy!" Lily exclaimed, her innocent voice echoing off the sterile walls. For a moment, time stood still. Emily caught Sarah's breath hitch, her muscles tense. It was a moment pregnant with possibility, fear, and pure love. As Lily ran to Sarah, eyes wide with both concern and joy, Emily felt her heart skip a beat. Would they bridge the gap between past and present? Would this moment cement their bond anew, or fracture it further? The uncertain weight of Sarah's new reality bore down on them all, yet in that instant, something magical crackled in the air. "Mommy?" Ethan asked, his small voice echoing the question hanging in everyone's hearts. "Are you okay?" The question lingered in the air, an unspoken challenge. Emily felt her heart race. Could Sarah meet this moment head-on? Would she embrace the love that awaited her? And just like that, the most significant challenge of their journey began. Sarah felt a whirlwind of emotions crash over her as Lily launched herself into her arms. The tiny girl's warmth wrapped around Sarah like a familiar blanket, and for an instant, the hospital room melted away. As she held her daughter close, she felt the trembling ache of love surging through her. "Mommy." Lily's small voice was pure joy, but Sarah's heart raced with mixed feelings. Doubts tugged at her. Would she really be the same mom again? "Hey, sweetheart," Sarah managed, her voice trembling. She was surprised by how much she missed holding her children. How much she had longed for this moment. Ethan approached slowly, his wide eyes scanning Sarah's face as if searching for the remnants of the mother he remembered. "Mommy, can you play with us?" A lump formed in Sarah's throat. She blinked back tears. Those innocent eyes filled with expectation struck her deeply. "I want to play but I can't just yet," she said softly. "But I can watch you." Emily stood nearby, her heart pounding. She wanted to intervene, to reassure the children while also allowing Sarah this vital moment. She could see Ethan wrestling with disappointment but wanting so badly to believe. "Can I show you my drawing?" he asked, holding tightly to a crumpled piece of paper. "Of course." Sarah replied eagerly, her smile brightening. She was flooded with warmth as he rushed to show her. The pride in his voice filled her with longing for the days when she would take them to the park, running free among the trees. As Ethan spread the paper on Sarah's lap, her fingers brushed against the colorful markers. A slice of normalcy in this predicament. She examined the drawing. It was a jumble of lines and colors, but the joyful stick figures were unmistakably the family they once were. In that moment, Sarah felt a flicker of recognition, both of herself and their life together. "You drew this?" she asked, her voice steady, filled with genuine curiosity. "Yeah. That's us having a picnic." Ethan beamed, his enthusiasm infectious. Lily, still nestled in Sarah's side, peered over. "Look at the big sun. And the flowers." Her little fingers pointed with excitement, and just like that, a sense of joy transcended the initial fear. Emily watched, carefully observing Sarah transform with every shared laugh and innocent remark from her children. She felt her heart swell with hope but also trepidation. They were navigating a delicate path, one where every moment was a building block for healing. Yet time was short. Reality loomed heavy as the kids' visit was only for a brief moment today. They needed to connect, to bridge the gap created by distance and fear, and there was so much left unsaid. As moments stretched into laughter, Sarah finally took a breath, determination filling her heart. "I promise I'll get better. I want to be there for you both, really there," she whispered, a vow made silently but resonantly. Ethan's face brightened at her words. "You will. We'll have so much fun." Yet deep within, Sarah felt the flicker of uncertainty. Could she truly return to the life they shared? Soon, the nurse entered and gently reminded them of the short time left. Emily's heart sank at the thought of the children having to leave again so soon. "I'll be back tomorrow, okay?" Ethan said, clutching his drawing tightly. "You have to get better, Mommy." "Tomorrow," Sarah said, her voice breaking, a promise echoing in her words. She hugged Lily tighter, feeling every heartbeat. As they walked out, Sarah felt the weight lift slightly, but uncertainty coiled within her. "Did I do okay?" she asked Emily, voice soft as regret mixed with hope. Emily knelt beside her, meeting her gaze. "You did wonderfully, Sarah. Just remember, this is just the beginning." But was it enough? With tears glistening in her eyes, Sarah glanced at the door, her heart pounding with a desperate wish to be the mother they deserved. Tomorrow would be another chance, but would it be enough to heal what was broken? The morning sun filtered through the hospital window, casting soft rays across Sarah's face. It felt like a light bursting with hope, yet still, heaviness clung to her heart. She stared at the drawings taped to the wall. Their colorful messages were cries of love from Ethan and Lily. Each crayon stroke seemed to remind her of their smiles, and it gave her the courage to face another day. Emily arrived with fresh coffee and a bright smile that masked her own worries. "Ready for day 2? She asked, trying to lighten the atmosphere. Sarah nodded, though doubt shadowed her resolve. "What if they don't see me as their mom anymore?" Emily placed a reassuring hand on her arm. "You're their mom. Just be present. They need you to show up for them." Taking a deep breath, Sarah prepared herself for the familiar emotional storm that accompanied the children's visits. Would she be able to catch that fleeting spark of joy she had felt yesterday, or would it be extinguished by her own fear? The morning dragged, each tick of the clock teasing her anxiety. Finally, as the door swung open, the joyous sounds of padded footsteps echoed through the room. "Mommy!" Ethan shouted, rushing to her bedside, followed closely by Lily. The room filled with a warmth that enveloped her like a protective shield, and the smiles on their faces fueled her determination. "Look what I brought!" Ethan exclaimed, opening a small metal lunchbox filled with snacks, vibrant stickers, and tiny toys. Lily bounced beside him. "Can we have a picnic here?" The request tugged at Sarah's heart. "A picnic? Right here?" she asked, feigning surprise to match the sparkle in their eyes. "Yes. Just like the drawing," Ethan proclaimed, already rummaging through the lunchbox. Despite feeling tethered to her hospital bed, Sarah could visualize the scene: their laughter, the soft breeze, and the sun warming her back. "Okay, let us do it," she declared, a rush of excitement washing over her. As they spread a small blanket across the floor, Sarah felt detached yet tethered at the same time. She watched them pull out each snack, giggling as they pretended to sip juice from imaginary cups. The innocence of their laughter opened a crack in the walls she had built around her heart. "This is just like the park," Lily squealed, stuffing her mouth with crackers. "You're here with us." And as if a dam had broken within her, Sarah began to relax. She laughed along with them, allowing her fears to momentarily drift away. The more they engaged, the more she felt a flicker of the mother she used to be, fading doubts replaced by hope. When the laughter settled, Ethan looked up at his mother, an earnestness in his expression. "Mommy, we're really happy you're back." The statement struck her deeply, reverberating within. But just as the warmth filled her, doubt crept in again. "Do you still want me to be, though?" "I'm not the same." Both kids looked at her, confusion dancing in their young faces. The honesty in Ethan's gaze pierced through her, cutting away her hesitation. "You're still our mommy. You just need to get better so we can play for real." Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. "I promise I'll try," she whispered, touched by their unwavering love. Suddenly, the door opened again, revealing the nurse. "Just a reminder, kids, it's almost time." As the harsh reality swept back in, Sarah's heart twisted. "No, stay a little longer." Ethan shook his head. "We have to go, but we'll be back." "Right, Lily?" "Tomorrow." Lily chimed in, her small voice unwavering. As they gathered their things, Sarah clutched Ethan's drawing in her hand, a lifeline back to full motherhood. "Don't forget me," she said, her voice laced with fear. "Never," he replied confidently. Watching them leave gnawed at her heart. Could their innocent belief be the foundation she needed to rebuild? When the door clicked shut, Sarah sat in the silence of the room, uncertainty swirling within her. Tomorrow was not just another day, it would be a test. Could she become the mother they needed? What if tomorrow held more than just hope? What if it brought the unexpected? The next morning came too soon, and the sunlight that had been a comfort before now felt like it was piercing through her defenses. Sarah sat on the edge of her bed, the drawing Ethan had given her still clutched in her hand. The colors seemed to glow, yet the warmth they offered felt far away. Today would be different. She could feel it in her bones, as if the air itself was charged with possibility. After the chaos of yesterday, she had struggled to find quiet in her heart. But today, she needed to be ready for the kids. She needed to give them the mother they thought they had. Emily entered, carrying a tray filled with breakfast. "You look ready," she said, glancing at Sarah's determined expression. "I think I am," Sarah replied, though a sliver of doubt still lingered. "Do you really think they'll see me as their mom?" Emily smiled with a mix of warmth and concern. "They already do, Sarah. Just show up. That's all they need." With a nod, Sarah attempted to channel her inner strength, focusing on the impending visit. But as the clock ticked down, she felt her heart quicken. What if it wasn't enough? When Ethan and Lily burst into the room, their voices filled the space with joy and laughter. Ethan was holding a stack of papers, while Lily clutched a stuffed bear, her favorite. "Mommy! We made you something!" Ethan exclaimed, his excitement spilling over. "What is it?" Sarah asked, her heart racing as she braced for the surprise. "It's a book." Lily chimed in, eyes wide with glee. "We wrote it about our adventures together." The sight of their eager faces melted the last of Sarah's trepidation. "A book? I can't wait to read it." They sat together on the bed, Sarah in the middle, Ethan on one side and Lily on the other. One by one, they flipped through the pages filled with drawings, stories of pirates and treasure maps, houses made out of candy, and all sorts of whimsical adventures. "See, Mommy? You were in every story," Ethan pointed out, and Sarah felt warmth swell in her chest. "Even the one where we fought a dragon." Lily laughed, her eyes dancing with delight. How could she have doubted their connection? Each tale was a testament to their love, their unwavering belief in her. The simplicity of their joy unlocked something deep within her, a realization that maybe she hadn't lost everything after all. With each page turned, Sarah found herself becoming infused with a new hope. As the laughter surged, washing away the remnants of fear, she could almost believe that healing was possible, but then Lily paused, her little brow furrowed. "Mommy, what if you can't come home soon?" The room went still, the weight of the question hanging like a thick fog. Sarah's heart sank. "I am trying really hard to get better, sweetheart." Ethan leaned closer. "But we miss you at home. It's not the same without you. What if you don't come home?" The raw honesty in their words felt like a knife twisting in her heart. Could she promise what they so desperately wanted to hear? "I want to come home as much as you want me to." "I'm working on it," she reassured them, praying that they could sense her determination, even if uncertainty lingered in the air. The door swung open again, this time with the doctor who came to check on her progress. "Good morning, everyone. How's our family today?" As the conversation ebbed and flowed, Sarah felt a sudden spark of awareness. The doctor's presence shifted her focus from her own fears toward what lay ahead. What if each visit revealed more than she thought? Would true progress not just be about health, but about deeper connections? And then came the moment of truth, when the doctor asked, "Are you ready to face the next step in your recovery?" Just like that, Sarah felt as though everything was on the line. She faced her children's bright eyes, filled with love and faith. Could she find the courage to say yes? The answer hung in the air, heavy and unspoken. What if the decision made today would define her tomorrow? As the sun bathed the hospital room in warm, golden light, Sarah took a deep breath, gathering every ounce of courage within her. She glanced at her children, their eyes brimming with excitement but also something deeper: expectation, love, and perhaps a touch of fear. She felt their unyielding faith like a tether, pulling her toward the light. "Ready?" Dr. Martinez's voice pulled her back. There was warmth in his smile, but she saw the intensity in his gaze, a mixture of encouragement and understanding. "This is your moment, Sarah." "Yes," she said, her voice steady yet soft, filled with a newfound determination. "I'm ready for the next step." It was the first step on a journey toward not only recovery but reconnecting with her children, rebuilding that bridge that had seemed so distant. The doctor nodded, impressed, and began outlining the physical and emotional hurdles ahead. As he spoke, Sarah felt the room closing in, yet the love radiating from Ethan and Lily cut through her fears, instilling hope. She picked up the drawing Ethan had made and held it close. It reminded her of their adventures and the laughs shared over picnicking on blankets, just like the one they'd made yesterday. They were, and always had been, a family regardless of her current challenges. "I can do this," Sarah felt the words rise up within her. She turned to Dr. Martinez, challenging him to hear her sincerity. "I can do this for them." She wanted to reach out and hug her kids, to tell them that she'd become the strong mother they needed. "All right," the doctor said, eyes shining with approval. "Then let us focus on today. It's all about small steps." But the emotions swirling near her heart were vast and complex. The memory of a life crafted with twinkling laughter and cherished moments flooded her mind, blending with the overwhelming panic of uncertainty. Yet she felt boldness swell with each heartbeat. "I want to start with physical therapy right after this," she declared, surprising even herself with the strength of her resolve. "The kids need to see me fight through this." As they wrapped up the meeting, Ethan's little hand found its way into Sarah's. "We'll be right beside you, Mommy." "Always," he said, his innocence piercing through any remaining doubts. Lily nodded. "Yeah. We can help you get better. You just have to believe." In that moment, everything clicked for Sarah. Believing was the cornerstone. With her children supporting her, she could harness that faith and fuel her own journey towards healing. It wasn't about a timeline, it was about love, trust, and taking steps however small. Later, as they entered the therapy room, she felt a calmness washing over her. Lisa, the enthusiastic therapist, greeted them with a bright smile. "Are we ready to kick some healing butt today?" "Yes," Sarah echoed, feeling the encouragement lift her spirits. They positioned her in a supportive chair, and together they began the activities. It started with simple stretches, elongating her muscles and reigniting memories of playing tag with her kids. Laughter bubbled up as she attempted to mimic Lily's silly dance moves, and shockingly, the energy didn't feel taxing. It felt invigorating, reinvigorating her sense of self. Ethan and Lily watched with wide, excited eyes, clapping and giggling as Sarah began participating more. Each slight victory was a feather in her cap, lifting her higher. The doubts faded like clouds, allowing rays of hope to pierce through. After a long session, tired but elated, Sarah turned to her children, seeing the pride glow in their expressions. "We did it together." She grinned, her heart soaring. "Tomorrow will be even better, right?" Ethan asked, bouncing on the balls of his feet, bubbling with anticipation. "Absolutely," Sarah replied, mind swirling with possibilities. She had begun to understand that healing would take more than just physical strength. It would require vulnerability, patience, and the courage to embrace joy even during the toughest days. As they walked back to her room that evening, Sarah couldn't shake off a new realization: love had always been her foundation. Even when life felt chaotic or uncertain, that love was their anchor, making their family strong. She might still be on the path to recovery, but the heart of her family had never wavered, and when they finally sat down, tucked together on the hospital bed, Sarah reached for Ethan and Lily, pulling them close. "Can we have a real picnic soon?" Lily whispered, her eyes shining with hope. "Absolutely, but I'll make the sandwiches this time," Sarah promised, feeling joy radiate through her chest like fireworks. As she listened to their laughter, the shadows that once clung to her began to dissolve. Tomorrow would bring challenges, no doubt about it, but they would face them as a family. One step at a time, and that was more than enough. Before falling asleep that night, Emily silently thanked the universe for bringing Sarah into their lives, for witnessing this incredible transformation. Their journey would not always be perfect, but she felt a deep-rooted belief that they were stronger together, bound by love, hope, and the promise of tomorrow. And in that vast hospital journey, each day ahead spun with possibility, the kind that only true family could bring. Now it's your turn to join this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let us know you want more. Comment below with your feelings about this heartwarming ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because you need to show your support during this incredible moment. Don't wait not even one more second to share.